Okay, so we talked last year, or last semester rather, about how to make a Google form. And today we're going to look at how to turn in those responses or how to create pie charts and graphs and whatnot on Illustrator using those responses. So what I have here is a questionnaire that we sent out earlier this year to the whole student body. And then here are the questions that we filled out. Here are the responses we got. And so what I'm going to do is recreate these pie graphs. I'm only going to do one or two in Illustrator so that you can see how we do that. So we'll start with the how long was your longest relationship one, and we will enter in these numbers. So I'm going to make it a little smaller. All right, come on over to Illustrator. Okay, and we have this button right here, column graph tool. If you click and hold on it, it's going to give you a bunch of options. I'm going to start with the pie graph tool. So I'm going to click and drag where I want my pie graph to go. And it's going to create this circle. And then I just have to enter in the values. So my first one is 44.8. I'm going to press tab. I have an 8.9, tab, 21%, 12.1, a 13.3, and that should be it. So they're all here, but nothing's happened. You have to remember to click this checkbox. A lot of people forget that and they can never figure out why it doesn't work for them. You have to click apply. So we have this created. I'm going to go ahead and move this back over because we don't need the numbers anymore. But the colors are not awesome, right? They're not that pretty. So what I'm going to do is, where are my swatches? Colors, swatches. So on this right side, you should have some swatches, and this will just give you more color options. And if you click down here in the little library, it's got a lot more options. So we pick which one you want. Let's go with foods and fruit, and we can pull in those colors. Oh, those ones are pretty similar. Let's do this. Okay. Voila. If you don't like the black lines, you can also get rid of those. If we just highlight all of this, click on the stroke, and then say none. So now we don't have any black lines. That's really your call in designing. The one thing you want to do is just make sure that the whole paper is doing it the same way, or the whole yearbook is doing it the same way. So we're either all using lines or none of us are using lines. Another cool thing that you can do in here, which I think is pretty nifty, is if you click on it, you can ungroup it, and then Illustrator yells at you and says, are you sure you want to ungroup it? If you ungroup it, you won't be able to mess with the data. I'm going to say that's fine. You can click on one of the pieces, make sure it's just that one piece selected, and you can move it away. So if you want to like talk about this piece in particular in InDesign, you can have this pulled out and then point at it and then talk about it. It's just kind of a cool design element. This is about as much as I would do with a graph in Illustrator. Like you could put text on here and all that jazz, but really it's more convenient for you to do all that in InDesign. So you would just save this. You can save it as a JPEG, you can save it as an Illustrator image, that's what AI is. You could leave it at that and then just pull it into InDesign and you can add all the frills there. Another option is instead of a pie graph, you could do all these different kinds, but you could do a bar graph. So we do this graph a lot in the panorama this year. And again, we're going to need those values. So I'll just stick with the same one. Okay, so 44.8, and 8.9, and 21, 12.1, 13.3. And I will click check. It's going to do pretty much the same thing. Whoops. I'll grab my selection tool, select. You want to make sure you're playing with the fill and not the stroke. So go ahead and click on fill. That way when we drag our colors in, it's actually filling. If we weren't on fill and we were on stroke, let's say we're on stroke right now, and I pull this over, you can't tell, but I'm just changing the color in the outside line if I'm on stroke, which is not what I want. I want that line to be black. And I want my fill to be changing colors. So if you're not seeing change, that's probably why. Here we go. So you pull in all of your colors, yada yada, and there you go. Same thing works is like if you want to get rid of this line, you can do all of that. You just have to ungroup it. It says, are you sure? And you're like, yes, I know what I'm doing. And then you can delete if you don't like those numbers or you want to do them yourself, or if you want one of these to be further away, that kind of thing. So that is convenient to know.